So you had to be with us live to catch that. We gave you New Kids on the Block. That song was called Kids. It's got a very 80s sound. I believe it was Kenny yesterday had today at 9 o'clock, I'll rock the bank with you. I will pass out that first $1,000 keyword. We have that going on for you. I'll also at 9 a.m. we'll figure out, are you micro cheating? A lot of you are. When we look at what the definition of micro cheating is, and I'm not even sure it's micro at this point, I'm pretty sure it's just called cheating. We will get to that coming up at 9 o'clock. I think this is a big reason why relationships are struggling today, why people feel as if they're having a hard time staying committed today. The wolf is always, always, always at the door when you start talking about stuff like this. So we'll get to it coming up at 9 o'clock about whether or not you're micro cheating. You probably are. We'll get her coming up at 9. Also, like I said, rock the bank with you as well. Then at 8 a.m., this was a big story yesterday. Not sure why. This feels like a very desperate. But the boys their name. They would like to be more inclusive. Any word on the Girl Scouts having to change their name? Not yet. No, not yet. This feels very desperate. This feels very much like people forgot about our organization. This feels very much like, oh yeah, you guys remember back in 2019 when we had to pay all that money over the pedophilia accusations that ended up being 100% true? You know, when people used to mock you for being a conspiracy theorist, but then somebody started messing with the money inside the Boy Scouts of America. So when the lawyers started going through the paperwork, we ended up finding out, no, this is running rampant through our organization. Yeah. This feels like one of those. Absolutely. Like, oh yeah, everybody just ran the other way from us after all of that. So don't forget we're here. Don't forget about us. So we'll get there coming up at 8 o'clock. This feels very desperate, and I don't think it's going to do what they're looking for it to do. Yesterday, did you guys hear about this WWE SummerSlam pre-sale madness? Apparently some of you were waiting in a queue 35, 40 minutes for the opportunity to enter the pre-sale. That wasn't even like what you were waiting to get the tickets. It was like, all right, now you're in the queue for the pre-sale. Apparently, people are all in on the WWE SummerSlam. That will be at Cleveland Brown Stadium. That's Hall of Fame weekend. This place, Northeast Ohio, is going to be crazy that week, for sure. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. It's one of the best times of the year, and it's only getting bigger every year. Absolutely love that. But we'll talk a little SummerSlam pre-sale also. Ric Flair got himself tossed out of a bar in Florida, of all places. We got some audio. We'll give you a little Rick limousine riding, high styling, whatever the hell the damn thing is, now being, escorted out by security. Expletives flying all over the place. Rick had, I believe it was a few cocktails. We will get there coming up at 7 o'clock. Ric Flair and also the SummerSlam pre-sale. Also, what does it cost for you to achieve the American dream? What is the American dream? What do we think that is? So we'll get a definition of what the American dream is for people and just how much that will cost you to get. And we'll do that coming up 7 o'clock this morning on The Stansberry Show.
If you leave, you'll miss this on The Stansberry Show.
Well, you may remember it was about a month ago. We had some wild audio of a journalist interviewing Caitlin Clark, and he kind of flirted with her a little bit, and it came out really, really weird. He has now been punished by the outlet he works for. So we'll get back to this audio, tell you what's going on with Greg Doyle, and we'll do that here next on The Stansberry Show. I have the Boy Scout PR team on my ass already. You know what I'm talking about, man? My experience in Scouts was I mean, just like already. Yikes. And in 2019, we read the court case results verbatim in here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else you wanted me to do on it. It literally, for 30 years, everybody was like, dude, you know what I think might be happening out here in the woods? And over some financial issues with the group, they went through with a fine-tooth comb and they ended up finding out, well, wait, what was this? And where was this? And where did this money go? And this, wait, we were paying off people? Wait, what happened here? And like, it did happen. Like, it happened. Like, I don't know why I'm supposed to deny that. This is my favorite thing about doing this. If I'm railing against something and it's not your thing, go Stansberry, this is why I love you, man. You're the man. If it touches a little close to home base, never again. Don't have time for it today. Never again. I'll have to check out today. Never again. Can't do it. I get it. There are things that make me eye roll the TV when I'm like, dude, I like this guy, but what the hell is that, right? I get it. Again, I hate to use one of these cliche phrases, but it ain't an airport, bro. No need to announce. You can just go. I can just be the way that goes. Everybody's been waiting for Caitlin Clark to turn pro. And we have the WNBA preseason. Turns out she's been, pretty good thus far. You may remember it was about a month and a half ago, maybe, where we were talking about a weird piece of audio because she had been interviewed, in front of the media. She was doing like a press conference. And a guy who works for the Indy Star had talked about the fact that Caitlin Clark does the hands in the shape of a heart to her family after the games or during the game, whatever the hell it is. And he was kind of talking about that and how it's like, part of her personality. It's been worked into some of her advertising campaigns already and the like. And a pretty weird interaction happened. If you don't remember, it was Greg Doyle from the Indy Star. And if you don't remember the audio, this is, here it is.
Hi, Caitlin. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, I'll leave you this.
And he does the thing, right?
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
Now, again, this is...
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
It's not always what you said. It can be how you said it. Right? If you're screaming like I have a tendency to do, maybe people will be like, oh, listen, screaming your head off. I can't even pay attention. Right? If I remember saying when we talked about this piece of audio the first time, that if I show up somewhere with my wife and a guy says to her, oh, I'm happy you're here. It's like, okay, he's happy. There will be some decent dinner conversation or whatever. But if that same man, as I'm standing next to my wife, looks at her and goes, I'm happy you're here. We got to fight now, right? like we're boxing, right? This might be your house, but I'm now going to mop the floor with your face. Like, what the hell is the matter with you? Like, this did come off kind of like, I kind of want to see her without her clothes on. It did kind of come off like that.
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So.
And the crowd kind of laughs. The rest of the journalists kind of laugh. It comes off as awkward, for sure. I remember saying that day, if you suspend him, I think I can understand it. I don't think I would fire him. And I said, if a female journalist had done this to a male athlete, we would call her thirsty. Secretly, she wants it. I know for sure. There is a very talented woman, I believe she's talented anyway, who's covered the NBA for a long, long time. Her name is Rachel Nichols. And Rachel also happens to be a pretty good-looking woman with a nice, body. She does, right? She's good-looking. The rumors have been flying around that she's been sleeping with these, NBA players for years. And it's just because, well, I'm guessing, dude, a lot of guys, after they get done with their interviews, dude, kind of do that, right? And, there's going to be some of that starts flying around. Then, their friends and stuff start talking, and then here comes the rumor mill, right? But if Rachel Nichols just kind of leaned into Braun and was like, I'm just happy you're here. Now, he didn't lean into her. He was in the crowd asking the question. That's fair. But, if she says it this way, we're going to be looking at her like, oh, lady, come on. We can all see this happening here. Come on. Professionalism this up a little bit, right? Come on. Put your best foot forward. That's exactly what we would be saying. And I remember saying that. I was like, then that's what I want out of Greg Doyle. I said, everybody's going to go crazy here and think that this is a reason to fire the guy, and I don't see it as that. Teachable moment, don't do this anymore. Bro, come on. You just made yourself look like an idiot here. Hey, you work for our organization, and now people are not, they're not saying you, they're saying Indy Star journalists. They're using our name. You can't be doing this to us. Sit them down a little bit? Okay, welcome to the world. There are going to be punishments for, actions. A lot of people are going to say it like this. For flirting, it's like, well, I don't know if a journalist should be flirting with the person that they're covering, right? Because if you're flirting with them, how are you going to stay objective about what it is you're covering? That's going to be harder to do, right? I don't necessarily like just let it go. He was just flirting with her. Never mind the fact that the man's bald and she's all of 20-some years old. That's a little strange too. Now she's old enough to be dating older men and all of that, or older women, whatever it may be. I don't know. That also is a little strange. He is now, we've got a couple of different reports here. It started out as he was going to be suspended, I think, a couple of weeks. He has now since said, hey, I'm going to take a small trip here. I'm going to go visit my son, who I'm sure is dealing with this. I believe his son's in college, and I believe, what's happening there. Everybody on campus now, all of a sudden, his son became the most popular kid on campus. Can't believe your dad's the Caitlin Creeper, buddy. Caitlin Creeper, dad, right? And all that. That's got to suck. I'm sure that's not great, but he says he's going to visit his kid. Then the report came out a little later that he will not be covering Indiana Fever games or Caitlin Clark at all. He's a sports journalist for the Indy Star. Now, back in the day, you'd have a staff of 80 of them. You would all cover your sport, and never shall the two get involved there. And then, we started going, if you cover baseball, you probably cover a little football. Hey, why don't you just cover, basketball while you're doing that? And then that started to happen over and over and over again. Outside of the Indiana Fever and the Indianapolis Colts, what the hell would the Indy Star need with a sports journalist? I mean, really. I'm guessing a lot of people mostly get their news from a national outlet. There's a whole nother subject in that. I think local outlets can be, depending on where can be better, although most of the local outlets now are presenting the national media as, their corporate national brand as the local news. That's happening all over the country. But you've cut him out of the only story in Indiana anybody's going to care about for the next couple of years. If the Colts quarterback pops, like a lot of people think he will, then okay, football's going to easily top the WNBA in column inches. I won't deny that. But why suspend this guy from